Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz, November 11, 2012, and 11:06 p.m. Birmingham, Alabama. Topic: the latest prophecy updates. Unfortunately, I've got all of them. I've got like 9 days, but I'm picking on only 2 right now: the 9th and the 11th of this month. And I'll start with the 9th. Israel minister said Iran slowed down enrichment push. Now, I don't know where he came up with this information, but I think that's incorrect. Iran issues warning after targeting U.S. drones. Sudan president threatens Israel with retaliation. What in the world did Israel do to them now? Obama seeking grand bargain with Iran. New ties with Egypt. We knew Morsi and Obama would probably be like this. At least I did. Israel warns Assad over stray Syrian fire on Golan Heights. Now, that's on one front. There's another fire coming from a different front I'll tell you about in a moment. United Nations says 11,000 Syrians fled in the past 24 hours. Made no mention of the upwards of 40,000 that has been killed. Could millions of genetically modified insects be released into British crop fields without safety checks? In other words, they have no idea if they're going to work. What they're releasing them for is anything that you have that eats cabbage leaves or something on corn or tomatoes. Instead of powdering the things like they always have, they want to seek or release new little mites or whatever they release to eat these things. Well, then what are you going to send to take care of those little boogers you sent out there? And then the process never stops. In other words, what's going to happen, and we all know it backs up because the world's going to start going hungry. New varieties of genetically modified tomatoes coming soon to your nearby grocer. Over 100 UFOs seen along the China border. Super workers expected within 10 years. That's modifying me, you, men, and whatever they're going to modify us with. It's all in the lab, y'all. Super workers, yeah, expected within 10 years. What beautiful demonic things man will soon become. Behold the rise and fear of your transhuman future. Guys, this is absolutely 110% true. It is already here. You just don't know where it is yet. Still behind locked doors. Do we want genetically modified kids? Yes, of course, says biochemist who is angry at Christian resistance. We'll tell you what, Christian resistance will stay that way until we're not here. All right, this November 11th, 2012. Barak, this is the other Barak. This is Israel Barak. I don't want to get it mixed up. 100 rockets and mortars launched by Gazan terrorists in the past 24 hours. What keeps the Gaza missiles coming? Well, to start with, they're being replenished faster than they can use them, and Iran is the biggest supplier of those missiles. Egypt bids for a truce. Netanyahu is undecided. Morsi has already said he didn't want anything to do with Israel in a brotherly way. Israel, Gaza, militants trade fire and escalation. There's a second front I mentioned to you. And the approach of an unwanted war in Gaza. This is the Gaza Strip. Israel drawn into Syria and fighting for the first time. United Nations nuclear chief. Cleanup ongoing at Iran site. What happened at an Iran site for this cleanup to have to be taking place? Nobody's told you about that. Only the nuclear option can work against Iran, says a former Israeli Defense Force chief. Syria bombards rebels in an area near Turkish border. Palestinian leader will go to United Nations despite pressure. What kind of pressure? And what's he going after? You know, the only thing that's ever on their mind is Jerusalem. Did you know in the Olympics, Palestinian had a capital listed? Jerusalem. Israel didn't have a capital listed at all. It's ironic, huh? Not even Tel Aviv. All right, a new leader for Europe. Wow, they're all calling we need somebody else. Waves of violence sweep Brazil's biggest city. And Brazil is preparing for the new games. And y'all know that. Food stamps surge by most in 1 year to an all-time record. Of course, this is in America, and this is in a delayed release. This happened between September and October, but they did not release that to you until the other day. Also, what they didn't release to you is the numbers of people that were unemployed had actually grown. That span didn't go below 8, it went above 8. Strong 6.8 quake strikes Myanmar. 12 feared dead. There's probably quite a bit more than that, but they're lucky if that's all in comparison to what the United States lost on the eastern seaboard. That's unbelievable. By far, you guys, the biggest tragedy, the biggest storm, the biggest, in other words, what I'm trying to say is a $50 million or $50 billion price tag happened on America's East Coast all the way down to Michigan. $50 billion. And now what, record snows and the people that are still homeless? Good God. We need to pray about that hard. Okay. Strong 6.8 quake. I mentioned that. I'm sorry. From genetically modified foods. Now listen to this. To Nephilim insect as next phase in assault on God's creation. Will scientists unleash the demonic locust of Revelations chapter 9? And last one, right now, California fails to pass genetically modified foods labeling initiative. Look, to start with, I may have already said it, the cattle won't eat the friggin' corn, but yet we have it in our pantry. Now, as far as scientists unleashing the demonic locust of Revelations chapter 9, no. Absolutely not. An angel will do that during the tribulation. And the modified foods to Nephilim insect is the next phase in assault on God's creation. Yes, that is true. Yes. Because we are about to see just what the Nephilim, for all you that don't know what they are, you'll know a lot more than you want to know very near future. Jody Wolf, Expoz.